Well, hello everybody, and welcome to First Presbyterian Church in Evansville, Indiana. It is noon on a Thursday, and therefore time for some live music here from our beautiful sanctuary, which dates from around 1874. The church begins celebrating its bicentennial next month. The first Presbyterian church in Evansville was founded in 1821, a few blocks away from me here on a little church on the hill, right where Main Street is in the heart of downtown. Quite a varied set of music for you today. I'm going to start with an early Prelude and Fugue by Bach in C minor. It's actually one of the very earliest pieces I learnt on the organ, kind of once I got my feet going and all the rest of it, as a teenager. And it really could be by anybody. It's got a lot of pucklebell in it, but it's also got a lot of the drama, and you end up kind of wondering what's going to happen next, sometimes harmonically and in terms of the space that Bach introduces into the music. It opens with a pedal solo, and I think Bach was quite keen to show off his prowess and to use perhaps a much bigger organ than our little Giesecke to really either impress his friends or perhaps a patron or perhaps the person who had just paid for a brand new instrument somewhere. He was quite famous for running around and being a consultant and demonstrating and also playing instruments to their limit to see if he could find anything wrong with them. But this clearly dates from early on in his career, and hope you enjoy this Prelude and Fugue in C minor, BWV 549. the Prelude and Fugue in C minor by Bach. I love the way the Fugue starts down here and it just kind of gradually works its way up the keyboard until finally there's an entry up in here. So, on to the music now of Mélanie Bonny, who wrote under the pseudonym of Mel Bonny because she was a woman and her music would otherwise lay hidden and not be published at all. Much of her music is now being assigned in the early 21st century opus numbers as they come to light and are published. So, but it's rather hard to tell exactly when they were written. The piece I'm going to play for you today is really very simple. I was thinking as I was playing that fugue, I guess the Bonny, it also has a tune which returns again and again, but in a completely different way and method of composition. Instead of being a sort of deeply contrapuntal sound, this melody basically appears just very gently singing on top of the surface of a very simple chordal texture. It's called Communion, and in parentheses, Adoro Te. In other words, Adoro Te Devote, Thee we adore, Heavenly King. Although it doesn't use the familiar plain chant, the familiar chant tune of Adoro Te Devote, but it clearly has a devotional aspect to it and a devotional affect. And we can imagine Mélanie during communion playing on this as the people come forward to receive communion. So it's marked to be slow and on the voix celeste. This little instrument doesn't actually have a voix celeste, which is the undulating sound, but I'm going to play it using the gamba and then add also the 8-foot gedect, where it says it's slightly larger sound in the middle and then away again at the end. So Communion, opus 149 by Mélanie Bonny. Communion by Melanie Bonny. Now, staying in the same key and in the same country, but moving onward a generation, we come to the music of Marcel Dupre, which may actually have been written around the same time as the piece we've just written by Melanie Bonny, but there's no way to really know. This is Antiphon 5, How Fair and Pleasant Thou Art, which is a verse from the Song of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 6. And it is Dupre's Opus 18, number 5. Traditionally, antiphons were sung before and after the psalm in the settings, in the services, I should say. And these antiphons are probably improvised originally, and then Dupre wrote them down later on. And so they evoke, in some cases, grandeur, beauty, and of course, coming from the Song of Solomon, a certain voluptuousness. So here is How Fair and Pleasant Thou Art, Antiphon 5 by Marcel Dupre. Now I'm going to move to the piano. In recent months, I've been discovering some jazz piano arrangements of old familiar hymns, particularly here in America, dressed up with in new ways in a volume called Hymns with a Touch of Jazz by Philip Keverin. And I've been playing these at the start of our first service at 8:30 on Sunday mornings, and they seem to have gone down very well. They do a good job of kind of setting the mood, and they have a lot of the harmony that I aspire to be able to improvise in. So I love this book of music. It's kind of at my level in terms of exploring jazz and jazz harmonies, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. I'm going to play two pieces from here, and I'm about to tell you exactly what they are. I don't want to make a mistake. The first one is Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing, and then the second one will be God Will Take Care of You. So, arrangements by Philip Keverin for piano solo. So, thank you again for joining me on this Thursday lunchtime for some live music from here in the sanctuary at First Presbyterian Church in Evansville. I look forward to seeing you next Thursday at noon, and also in person, masked of course and distance, on Sunday mornings at 8:30 and 10:30. Farewell and have a good rest of the week. Bye-bye.